Hello, Karen Kusky here. Today I'm going to share a tour of my new quilt studio. It's in a new house I moved into within the last year. I did get to design it all myself, which was a lot of fun. Most of my furniture is used from thrift stores, which I repurposed. And a lot of these ideas I'm sharing today could be used for any type of studio, craft or otherwise. So I hope you enjoy it. Here's the entrance to my studio, which is in the lower level of my house. I'll just walk you through and then take a little bit of time and show some details with some explanation. Here's an entertainment center that I converted to a storage cabinet for lots of supplies. I added a few extra shelves in there and with supports. Holds mostly paints, brushes, crystals, that kind of art supplies. Next to that cabinet, I have a kitchenette was built down here, which is handy. I have a big sink for when I do any kind of messy stuff or with paints, etc. TV, the stand under the TV is full of fabrics. I store all my threads over here. The one on the left is just the top part of a china cabinet. That's where I have my polyester long arm threads. And the black cabinet has cotton long arm threads and sewing machine threads on the bottom. Underneath the china cabinet top is a credenza, which holds some patterns and bobbin threads. This here is my main sewing machine table, which I made out of an old desk. I'll show you some close-ups of what I did to make it fit a sewing machine. Here you can see the hole that I cut out and the board that I took out. No, actually this is another piece of plywood. I put a piece of plywood underneath there, sitting on the brackets that were holding the drawer up. And so now the sewing machine fits down in that well, and that makes it even with the cabinet surface. I have a rubber mat here that I used to put down in that well for the sewing machine to sit on. It takes up the vibration. Now you can see the sewing machine is flat or flush with the cabinet top. I have a screened-in patio outside of my studio, so on the nice temperature days I can have the doors open and my cats can go outside and enjoy the outdoors. I also have a really nice view of the farmland that's across the road from me. Out the back side of my house, I have another beautiful view of more farmland and the Smoky Mountains. The work table over here is from an old dining table I found, and it has leaves in it, which I made as big as possible, and then put a plywood on the top to make it 5 foot by 9 foot on the top surface. Then I bought 3 of the large cutting mats, I think from Joann's, and glued those onto the top of the plywood. For the height, which I needed higher than a normal dining table, I added 4x4 pieces of wood under each of those legs, and then added those large wheels underneath so I could roll it around. Makes it real nice, and the height is perfect for me. You make your table whatever height is good for you. I also put a shelf underneath there for storage of miscellaneous items. So this is good for me for large quilts, or if I have a friend over, then we're both cutting out stuff at the same time, we have plenty of space. A really convenient, easy, inexpensive way to store tools like rulers, rotary cutters, etc. is pegboard. These happen to be plastic pegboard. They come in one piece, I think they're 2x2, and they have some depth so you don't need the furring strips behind them. I forget where I ordered them. But anyway, any pegboard is really good for storing whole bunches of tools, real easily accessible. This is an entertainment center that I converted to be a storage cabinet. On the front of the doors, I put fabric to make it look like shutters. They're treated with Mod Podge, so they stay on really well. Here's where I store a lot of my long arm supplies, some paints, different threads. This little cabinet is normally used for small tools. It's little plastic drawers. I use it for my needles because I've got so many different kinds for the long arm and sewing machine. So it works out perfect for this. This really long set of drawers I use for supplies. The drawers are deep enough to stand stuff up. The top drawers are skinny for flat stuff, like I have some different rulers in there. In another deep drawer I have fabrics that I've already treated with Mod Podge that I use in my landscapes. But this cabinet really holds a lot. Here's the entrance to my fabric room. It's got all these china cabinets and an armoire filled with fabrics. I painted them different colors to hold the different colors of fabrics. We got the yellow one for yellow, brown, and orange. This brown cabinet is batiks. The gold is different food prints and specialty fabrics. The purple is for purple, black and white fabrics. And that file cabinet, I painted all different colors. Those are white, cream, and gray fabrics. Over here is red on the other side, red and pink, and blue in the corner, and green, which is mostly trees, shrubs, grass, any kind of greenery type stuff, and just general greens. Over here is the bat closet, which ended up being a bat and a storage closet. I'll open the door here. So there's my bats on rollers. They're like closet rods. And then it was a bigger closet than I was originally planned, so now I have extra storage in there also. I do a lot of landscape type quilts as well as my lighthouse patterns. So I keep all my building materials, ground cover, sky, water, all that kind of stuff in this blue cabinet. This table in the center I bought just to lay out my quilts so they don't need to be scrunched up or folded up in a suitcase or a box or a carton. So they all get to lay flat, all the ones that I don't have enough wall space to hang on my walls. So there's a pretty thick layer of quilts here. But they like it because they can breathe and stretch out. I've been fortunate to have this large studio, so I have set up a couple tables and chairs for friends to come and join me occasionally, so they have a spot to sit down and work on their project. The ironing table is just an old chest of drawers I painted up. Again, I put 2x4s underneath and some wheels to make it the height I like. And the top is a piece of plywood covered with a foam back ironing board top. And it's about 2 feet by, I don't know, 5 approximately. So everything, most of my tables are on wheels so I can move them around easily. So it comes in handy. And the drawers hold all of my interfacings, fusible webs, freezer paper, whatever I need or use at the ironing table. My design wall is 2 pieces of 4x8 of that foam board. It's usually used for insulation in houses that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's. And then I covered them with white flannel and just did 4 screws, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. I did put a furring strip underneath to hold them from just falling down in case there was enough weight that might be too heavy for them. And they're just screwed into the wall underneath. But they work great, so it's about, so it's 8 foot wide and about, 8, I think I cut them off from 8 foot. I think they're like 7 foot tall. This sewing machine table was made out of 2 base cabinets, real narrow ones, because they have a cupboard door and a drawer, but just sitting on the floor, and then a Formica top just screwed onto the top of those 2, a good amount of width in between. And then I cut out a piece of this top and put the bottom down with some bolts hanging the bottom piece, so my sewing machine has a well to sit in so that it's flush. It's flush with the top of the table. Real simple application, but it works. And a good amount of sewing space. It's about 30 inches by about 5 foot again. The lighting in this room has 15 LED lights. They're like 4 foot long panels. I think they're 4 foot by 1 foot or close. Lots of light. I planned this when I planned the design of this whole studio. And then my long arm has extra lighting connected to the frame of the long arm machine. If you ever have the opportunity to design and or build your own quilt or craft studio, I highly recommend you put in as much lighting as possible that you have space for and can afford. And you will greatly appreciate that in the long run. I hope you enjoyed the tour of my studio and got some new ideas for yourself. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Drop me a note if you have any questions.